Alright, people, when you want to start getting down with some digital juice products along with Avid Studio and Pinnacle Studio, the first thing you gotta know about is the juicer. Alright, the juicer is the application that you need to download onto your desktop in order to make those files compatible with Avid Studio and Pinnacle Studio. Alright, now if we scroll down here, we see that you can download versions for Windows and for Mac. Now right now the juicer's on 3.89D in its build 270. Last release as of the date of this video was April 10th. Now if you're on a Mac, it also tells you what type of Mac OS you can get on and use it with. That's very important, because I know, like, with a Mac there's a whole bunch of different OSs right now that they got going on, so you got to make sure everything's compatible. Do like I always told you. Okay, read and research before you start messing around with stuff. And that's a lot that you're going to tend to learn about in this tutorial or review, because some of these products you're not going to be able to use with Pinnacle Studio or Avid Studio, okay? Unless you do a few adjustments first. You got to know this before you start buying and buying and buying and buying. Man, buyer's remorse is a bad thing. But anyway, moving on. Basically, with this bad boy, you can use it as it tells you here to browse all of your beautiful footage that you download, all your stock footage, all your animations, all your motion design elements, all your editor's toolkits, all your sound effects, all of your music, all of the stuff that you can use with Pinnacle Studio and Avid Studio. You can preview your files, watch them, listen to them, all of that good stuff. One of the biggest things is that you process it to use it in your nonlinear editor of your choice, and you can convert those files. You can only convert digital juice compatible files with the juicer. You can't just throw any old type of file that you made with your grandma's camcorder 5 years ago into the juicer and think that you can convert it, because you can't even really get it into the juicer anyway. It'll only utilize those files and previews which you get from a disc or from a download from the Digital Juice website. And I'll be talking about that in a minute. All right. This is the place to go if you want to get your juice on. So let's take a look at the beautiful juicer. All right. Interface is really, really simple and easy. I'm going to take you through a few of these little things on here. Now, first we got file, and it's got a batch list. You can load a batch list, and a batch list is basically a group of files that you put into the juicer that you chose to upload to a file on your computer. So if I were to click on load batch list, it's going to go to a location that I have selected for my batch list to go. And let's say I just choose, I don't know, let's choose smoke. And I hit open. It's going to put it into the batch list again. And if I want to, I can click on render selected if I just want to select a specific one to render by clicking on it. Or I can choose render all, and it will render everything in the batch list. I also have settings here. So I'm going to get to that as long as I got something in here right now. Click on settings. It'll go ahead and pull up the available settings for the item that you have highlighted. So you got, right now it's on custom settings because I made some changes to it. And then you got some presets here. And you know I like this one. Bam. 1920 1080 NTSC. I love it. All right, that's what I live on. All right, and then you got your pixel aspect ratio, your frame rate, the start, the duration. You can't change the duration. You can make the duration, I'm sorry, you can change it, but you can only make it smaller, not larger for most of the files. Then you have the speed. You want it very slow or real time. You got your layer. So you can go ahead and transform it to different sizes if you wish to do so. You can scale it from right here, make it smaller, larger. You can move the position of where it's going to be on the frame that you've selected. You can rotate this bad boy. You can change the opacity. You can flip it, horizontal, vertical, or both. And then you got your mask mode, if it's available, and any effects that might be available. You can blur, sharpen, do all that. Is my I can add a mask on here if I want to. So all of that good stuff. And then the most important part is the output part, because to be truthful with you, some of these things as far as the layering and things, you're not going to be able to do on Pinnacle Studio and Avid Studio, simply because it doesn't have an alpha channel built in for you to utilize within the software for Pinnacle and Avid. But you know, you can try it out, see how you like it, and you can use the Luma keyer to key out any black, and you know, still have the element if you want to do it that way. That's a real good way, because it doesn't have alpha layers. You can always use that Luma keyer to key out any black that comes through on an element that you want. All right, always remember that. But back to the output. This is the important thing. All right, so we got a few options here. Let's see. Let's just put it on the original, which would have been the QuickTime with alpha. That's what it would have originally tried to do. All right. But for me, you know, I can't really get down with that, because like I said, Avid Studio doesn't have alphas, and neither does Pinnacle Studio. So I'm not even really worried about these alpha channels. What I am worried about is the format, the QuickTime format. So you got AVI. You got AVI Type 2, you got Windows Media, you got RTV, a PNG sequence, a JPEG sequence, target sequence. And if you don't know these sequences, what they are is basically a bunch of freaking photos that is gonna make a huge freaking file with a bunch of photos of the video. So it has like each photo of the video frame. So that is pretty freaking huge. So, you know, unless you're trying to take all the photos from it and do something with it, don't worry about those. But what you do want to do is leave it on QuickTime Movie, because Pinnacle Studio and Avid Studio both can